Hello, my name is Maria. I wanted to share my story and my journey as to how I became a physiotherapist specializing in pelvic floor and functional medicine. So, how did I get here? Starting out, I was born in Ukraine and then I moved to Israel where I grew up, and I moved to Canada when I was 13 years old. I think I was always moving, a lot of movement, and I think that came from my parents who were track and field athletes. Since I was born, I was always moving with them, meaning I was traveling with them when they were going to competitions, training camps, or when they were training. And so my mom even said when I was 9 months old that I ran before I walked. Clearly, I really wanted to go. So I really followed some of their footsteps where I started with gymnastics. Honestly, did not love it, but I did it for a few years since the age 4 and continued to do track and field around the age of 7 that I loved. I was doing a lot of long jump and hurdles, some sprints as well. I really enjoyed that aspect that I can do different things and move. And I'll put some pictures that you can see here too. I then also found the love to dance. My cousin used to do recitals and dancing back in Ukraine, and my aunt would send us cassette VHS videos of her. So I would put them on and dance to all of her moves in the living room, or I would listen to MTV back in the late 90s and early 2000s and just jam out to those awesome tunes of back in that time. I also love to rollerblade. I rollerbladed before I actually biked. I learned how to bike at the age of 12. So I still to this day love to rollerblade, and it feels more comfortable than cycling, but that's a different story. And so after moving to Canada around the age of 13, it was hard, to be honest. I remember it was very difficult to make friends, not knowing the language. So sport was really my gateway to kind of A, meet people, and B, feel good and feel like I'm fulfilling myself. And so after finishing high school, my educational phase comes into play where I became a registered massage therapist. I then finished a Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology and pursued my master's in physiotherapy. And then I was like, okay, let's go into the workforce. I was working in the public sector at a hospital where I was working at complex medicine, specializing in hemodialysis, oncology, which I loved. I also became a physiotherapy lead, learning more about leadership and seeing how the hospital system is functioning from a different lens was very interesting to me. I also had some weekend shifts at the ICU and the stroke unit, which kind of all of this created fascination for how different parts are interacting with each other, and how the inner system is working and how it impacts the person on the outside. And so I then found passion for pelvic floor because of seeing a lot of incontinence in the hospital, and later in Euro clinic that I was working at. So I decided to take a course. I really enjoyed it. I moved to Vancouver and I was like, okay, I'm pursuing pelvic floor. I've developed great experiences working at a pelvic floor clinic, and working with amazing individuals dealing with pelvic floor dysfunctions. Personally, dealing with pelvic floor issues, gut health issues, hormonal imbalances, and skin issues, and not having answers to them when I was growing up, I really took a really big dive into learning more. So reading lots of books and listening to podcasts. And I came across functional medicine where they're looking at all different layers and aspects of the person. So more of like a whole person approach. to identifying what is causing their particular condition or disease. So that really became quite fascinating to me as how I can help myself, but then also the people that I work with. And so it's not just about the physical piece. There are different layers to it, but there's also the internal layers and the systems that are interconnected with each other, as well as the mind and your mental state, your emotional state, your spiritual state, and how you live day to day, and how do you perceive life. And that really creates a really big impact on your body. So that's where my fascination came from. And I've decided I want to combine that. I want to do both. So I'm pursuing a functional medicine practitioner course at the moment, and I want to integrate it. That's where YouTube comes in, where I can really share my love for movement and my love for pelvic floor and functional medicine, like all in one. So that is my kind of professional aspirations at the moment. I'm sure they will continue to evolve and change. But through life, I continue to enjoy hiking, exploring new activities. I've tried a triathlon and a half marathon. I do enjoy cycling now, although rollerblades still has that really safe and comfortable place in my heart. I love to dance, and I love spending time with my friends, and really I've acquired very strong friendships throughout my years, and relationships as well that were very memorable, but great experiences nonetheless. So this is really, you know, a little bit about me, not just what I do for work, but also what I do for fun. And I want to hear your story. I want to hear where you're coming from, so we can connect on a bit of a different level. So my channel really brings those pieces: movement, pelvic floor stuff, as well as the interconnection with our internal system. And so you'll see more content like that coming up in the future. So I hope this has been a fun experience for you to learn a little bit about me. And I will see you in future videos.